Welcome to another video on the channel. It's GHOSTDRIFTX. In this video, we're just going to explore creating a thumbnail and kind of doing it efficiently over and over and over. So if you do thumbnails for your videos for robots, you want to make sure you're doing kind of the same thing. You can change it up, but what I learned is that it's easier to have a lot of things you've already done, and then you can actually break it up when you need to, but it's going to help you get things done a lot quicker. So we already got a canvas. My canvas that I always run with is going to be 1980 by 1020. Okay, that's what I run mine as, and I'm always using it as a transparent. So my background is transparent. There's nothing here. If I was to render this, there would be nothing would render. And so over to the right, when you're looking at Photoshop, you've never done Photoshop, really it is like a stage that you're looking at. And when you look at a stage, it's basically goes from the front of the stage all the way to the back, and you can move items onto that stage, but as you move them on the stage, they can be right next to each other, or you can move one back. And so when you look, it looks like one's further away than what you're looking at, because it is. And then if you move it over, all of a sudden the item that the person or whatever's in front is going to hide the item in the back. Okay, and so when you're looking at a stage, that's how it works. And so Photoshop is the same way. The items that you see when I scroll down over here to the right, as I'm going down, anything at the top is like the front of the stage, and as I keep going down, all the items that you see as I go down are items that go to the back of the stage. So all these items are on the back of the stage. So this guy here would be the very back of the stage. If I click him, that would be the back of the stage. Okay. If I click this guy, all of a sudden it looks like it changed colors, but really he's in front of the first one, and therefore the other one disappeared because he's actually being hidden, right? He didn't really disappear. He just got hit, right? And so let's show that. So if I click here and I move this over, guess what? There he is. Okay, he's right there. He or she is not even really a real person, right? But anyway, there it's still there, it's just hidden. Okay, the first object was hidden by the second object, basically because of where it's placed in the layers. Okay, so we're going to do Control Z to put that back to normal. And so what I usually do is I have these different colors. I'll have black or white usually start out. So we're going to click on this, and then we're just going to scroll up. I already have some items already set up in here, and what I do is, as I create my thumbnails, I keep those thumbnails, like all the, you can say the parts of that thumbnail, I keep them in that Photoshop file, so that when I go back, I might want to reuse something. I might want to do something different to make it look slightly different. And so we're just going to go up, and I already put up some items in here so that I can go ahead and put this together so you guys can see it. But as I scroll up, we're going to go to the first one that I have, which should be the name. Now this one is like my generic name I use for my stream, so you'll usually see Ghost in the Machine. That's what I started using. Now you don't have to do that. Some people, they do their thumbnails for their streams just like they do for their thumbnails that are just regular videos, and I think that's good because people can actually watch the videos, and it's good for promoting your channel. And a lot of times people get to look at the live stream, they don't realize live stream, look like, okay, that's pretty cool, I have to check that next time you live stream. So definitely something to think about. Now sometimes people like to keep it separate, so if you look at my videos initially, you'll see that my images from my live streams specifically stated live stream. Okay, they were live streams that already happened, but I made sure that you knew this was a live stream that you're about to watch, and it was really the way that was set up. Whereas now I remove that, and now I just do my thumbnails for my live streams almost like my regular ones, but I might have Ghost in the Machine or something like that. So we're just going to go up, and I'm going to look for the one I have. Now the one thing I will say, if you do this, you may want to organize a little bit better, or you may, let's say you get to a certain point, you save this as a different name, and then you build off of that. Okay, and so I have a different one for my regular thumbnails that's set up the same way, where I still have all these elements in there that I can actually pull up and go with. So here's one of the elements. This is what I use for when I want to, let's say I want to use a text that I already used before, and I don't want to go in and try and find the font that I had. I have this one, and so all I do is do duplicate layer. When I duplicate the layer, I hide the initial, so we're going to do duplicate. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter. So okay, so now I have two of the same layers. Okay, I hide the original, and then I go ahead and click the text tool, move this over until it turns to a line. You see the box, there's a box here. When I move it in close enough, the box goes away. That lets me know I can edit. So I go ahead and click my left mouse and drag over, and if I start typing, that's what it gets typed in and replaces it, but it keeps that same text and everything the same. So if you have a really cool font that you kind of dressed up, it looks really good, and you're like, oh, I want to change that name, use the same one. Well, really simple, just duplicate the layer, hide the original one, and then go ahead and change the words to the way you wanted to say. So we're gonna block that out and go to the one that we want. I'm gonna go ahead and undo that one. I'm gonna delete that one because I don't want to keep it, right? I'm gonna go ahead and delete, tell it yes, and then we're gonna put this up, don't crash, which is that one, okay? And then I have my main title. All right, so here it is, late night test. We can click that. So that's my main text, okay? So you can have a main, you have a light, and you don't have to repeat your title, okay? Well, that's what I'm trying to learn to do. It's kind of hard when you've been doing it the wrong way. But a lot of times you don't really want to repeat your title on your thumbnail. You really want to accent your title, maybe a different word. Like I have one thumbnail I think is really good, and the crazy thing is you'll see more views on certain thumbnails because people it draws them more than other ones. So I have one thumbnail that's funny. All it is a Ryzen, and it says Ryzen with question marks on it, and that video has almost 100 views. Now that's not a lot to a lot of people, but when you're used to getting maybe 20-30 views and then you get a video that's getting like almost 100, it makes you wonder. Now all my videos are good, but it's the thumbnail that pulls people at times, and then once they get the video, then it's the video that grabs them. But the clicks on that video a lot of times have to do with your thumbnails, okay? And so we have our main title, then we have our, you'll say your subtitle here, and then we're going to go ahead and add the images that I want to put on here. So on this one, what I do with mine is I try and make sure I put whatever I was using in the live stream to put on here. Now, if I'm just doing a video, you know, I use that. I'll try and put the same images in the video, or there's something in that video that I want you to focus on, then I'll actually put that in my picture. I want you to focus and look for that item in that video, okay? And so here I was running these bots, and so these are the bots that I'm going to put on here. So now I have my Lance, I have the 2 Griffins, and I have the builds that I use. Now if you're looking for these icons, you're like, shoot, I can't find those images, where can I get them? Well, guess what? I have a video where Pixonic put out a WR art kit, and basically in that kit it has all these items in there, and hopefully we'll get an update here at some point, but it allows you to go get these 3D great rendered items. And then what I do is I just go pull them, grab the one I want to create, because they have all the weapons, so you just switch them out. And as you can see, yeah, it's got the older orcs and all that, but when you see it, you pretty much know what it is. And so you can use these nice renders to go ahead and put them in. Now if your phone takes really good pictures, like your images or your videos are really good, and you can go ahead and put them out there so that they do look just as good as these images, but they're in the game, that's even better, right? But I can't really get really high quality images out of the game to do this with, and so I like using these renders. And so we're gonna go up, and then what I usually do is add some kind of image in here to kind of give it a different feel. Okay, it's not just an image black and white. There's, you know, maybe when you see it, you're thinking, okay, fog of war, I don't know. I just kind of put different little changes on there, just kind of give it a little bit of, I guess you say, a little contrast. Okay, there's a war, there's something going on, and so it's not just all fluffy, right? There's something going down. And so you can kind of experiment with these different things. Some of them may work, some of them may not. I kind of like that. As you can see, it's already giving a little bit of darkness, a little depth to my Lance, and some of the, in the bot to the left, the Griffin to the left. And then the one on the right is kind of hiding them just a little bit, just kind of a fog. And so I actually like adding that in. And then we do like fire. I may put some fire in here, okay? Just kind of playing around. I don't always do it just to see. That's just an off color. And when you do these, the thing is, all you're doing is looking at this bar up here. This actually changes what the image will do to any image below it. And you can do this with any image. It's really cool about finding out what something looks like. Sometimes you discover a different look just by clicking on here. So we're just gonna put this on normal. Okay, that's what it will look like. Okay, just by itself, that's what it looks like. And then what we do is when I click here, if I leave this highlighted, okay, so I clicked it once, it jumped up, I click it again, it goes back and it's highlighted. Now all I have to do is hit the arrow key down to change it, and as you can see, all of a sudden you're starting to see the images through that image. And so that's what I do. I like to go play around, see what kind of different looks I may get. That I like that. Okay, I like that. And then what I would do is try and put in a different color to change it. But it's somehow when you give it a lot of, you say high contrast, kind of gives it more of a better feel at times. So always kind of keep that in mind when you're looking. And of course, you know, feel what you think looks really good, but over time look at other people's images and see what theirs is looking like. And so we're just going to go down And just so you can kind of see, okay, these are the different images you can get just by changing that. And there are other things you can do. You can change the opacity and all that kind of stuff, but those are the simple things you can do. So we're gonna go and put it back, I believe, the color dodge, okay. And so now we got that one in there. Let's go ahead and put, and like I say, you keep these, okay. So if you keep these, now they're always gonna be here. So when you go to play around, you say, okay, I kind of like that. I just kind of like that. So we're gonna go up. And I'm not gonna do the fire. Fire kind of gives it a little bit of contrast as well. So we're gonna leave it in there. We're gonna leave it in there. And then what I like to do is go ahead and go on up to the top. And like I say, as you're putting these in here, you're building this. So you'll build your, I can say your database of images. And I wouldn't make it too big. Like I have a lot in here. Like I don't even know how many layers I have, but I have a ton. But it's always because I'm always creating something. And so it helps me to go in and grab something like, okay, I like that. Let me pull it up, Mr. Miyagi style. So these are just different variations of words and how I did something a certain way. And I actually would like that. And so I'm going to put that in there. So we're going to go up to the top here. And now we're going to play with the colors. Okay. And so I have an image here and we're just going to click on it. And what I'm going to do, I'm just show you how these other ones work. I put them all in a folder, but here we're just going to do one by itself. So I'm going to put this over the top. And we already have some contrast from the image that was above, but what we're going to do is we're going to use this guy to actually change what the other ones look like below it. Okay, and so I have him there. We're going to click this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to normal and do the exact same thing, and then you're going to start seeing the images come through. Okay, so if you want some really cool different look, you can actually play around with this and just kind of go through and see, okay, that's kind of cool. And what I learned is, so like that's kind of a way. Let's keep going. But the biggest thing about this is you'll be able to change it. So let's say I like that. Okay, I like that, but it's too strong. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring this down to maybe about, let's bring it up a little bit. We'll take it up a little bit more. We're gonna give it a little bit more. We're gonna put it at 50. Okay, so we put it at 50 and still kind of the same thing. So I take it off. Okay, so now you can see the difference when you kind of put it on, take it off. It actually enhances everything. Okay, and why is that? The words are below. So remember I told you, like the stage, this is in front of everybody, but you can see through it. So it actually changed what everything looks like behind it. Okay, and so that's a cool thing. So I'm just showing you this layer so I can show you why these other ones work so well. So what I learned is, you hear about RGB. Okay, those are colors. Red, right, is for the R, G is for green, B is for blue. Okay, and usually yellow's in there too. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide that, and then we're going to click this folder, and it's going to turn on all these colors. So I'm just going to uncheck them, and this is how I kind of add contrast to my pictures. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with red. Okay, I can put a lot of red in there. I can do blue, and what you'll see is when you bring in the other colors, they kind of change. Now we're just gonna put them all in here just so you see. Okay, now look at that. As soon as I added the green, so it was purple, but I added green. Now it kind of leveled it out, but you still see a little bit of purple. Then I go green. Now it leveled it out even more. Now why is that? Because our eyes, those colors start to blend, and it starts to give things a different look. And so that's why you have. So we're gonna go yellow. So now yellow's in there. Now I do white just to lighten it up. Okay, and the thing is, on all of these, if you look to the right up here, I'm just gonna click on this guy. This guy's 15. This guy is 100. This guy's 54. And each one of these, now this guy is normal, so I need, okay, he's overlaid. Anytime you uncheck the little eyeball, they basically look like they're normal. You got to check the eyeball to see the actual settings for it. So this is overlay as well, but it's 50. This is 54, 55, 33, 49, 21. So what you can do is you can actually adjust how much or how strong that image shows on your actual pictures, or basically the layers below them. So right now the strength of this is 21. Okay, as I move it up, it's going to get stronger. Okay, but I don't want it that strong, so I'm gonna drop it back down. I'm gonna put it at 50. Let's put it at 50. Okay, and then what we'll do is let's click on the blue one, or we click on the green one. Okay, so the cool thing about this is you can choose what colors you want to add. Yellow gave it a little bit of, just a little bit, not too much, kind of brighten it up a little bit. So you can play around, and if it's too dark, you come back with the white. to brighten up everything. That's too bright. Let's bring it down with some red. Okay, and you can go and adjust the individual colors, but the cool thing about this is it gives you some color grading, and there's some more advanced ways to do this, but this is really simple for me because it's like, okay, I go in there, I choose a color. I notice if I add extra blue, okay, now it looks really blue. I throw a green in there. Okay, it took away some of the blue. The blue's in there, but it doesn't look so strong. Now it's too green. Let me see if I can do red. Oh, the red took away the strong green, the strong part of the green. And so you can play around with this, but as you can see, I'm just gonna turn the white off. Now they're darker, bring it in, it's lighter. If I turn this off completely, you still got good contrast because we had the other one in there, but this actually gives a little bit stronger, okay? And also the words at the top, it to me makes them stand out more, okay? And so that's what's cool about doing this, and you can set up how you want, but definitely red, blue, green, yellow sometimes, and then the white actually makes it brighter, but this is what I do. And so late night test, don't crash, I like that. And then the biggest thing on here is always have your logo. So I have a logo, I'm gonna hit this, and that's big enough that you can see the thumbnail, but you also can see that logo. And I want you to kind of get used to that logo. I don't want it this small. I used to have it that small, but then I started to notice, okay, these thumbnails are really small, okay? So even though I'm working with it like this, really when you see it, Control Z, and I'm gonna hold the Alt to get the opposite direction to go backwards. Really, when you think about it, your thumbnails look like this. And I was watching the video creators, and the biggest thing they were talking about was that when you create your thumbnails, you want them to pop, okay? Even at this size, you want them to pop. So when you're done with your thumbnail, you want to look at it at this size to see, can I see it? Now, on mine, what I usually like to do is I have another one that actually has a border. So this says white border, but it's going to show the opposite. And I usually do a black border. I'm going to click this, and then we're going to zoom in. Okay, and that I actually really like the borders on mine. And then this one is a white border. Oh, there it is. You can't really see it. Yeah, you can't. Okay, now you can kind of see it. It's really faint on the outside, but what it is, one of these is white. So this guy right here, when I take this one off, this one's actually a white border. So if I had a darker, like the overall picture, maybe the background was darker. So let's do that. We're gonna make a dark background. So let's go down here, and we're gonna do this and switch to black. Okay. So when I hit that, if I take away the background, now it doesn't show correctly because there's nothing in the back to basically block it out and make it all blacked out. So we hit black here, makes it all black. Then we go back up to the top here, and now I'm gonna click, and you can see a white border. Okay, so I like that. I saw somebody doing the videos and they had kind of a border like that. Looks pretty cool, and it kind of like, I don't know, it brings the whole picture together when you have it that way. So somebody, when you're done, you might like this. I don't know, it just depends on your taste. And then also trying to accent what you have, so when somebody just glances at it, they can say, oh, okay, that's War Robots. Okay, if you want them to know, or they just know your channel, so you're like, I want them to focus on my channel and understand the title. So now I zoomed out. I'm gonna go back a little bit more. That's probably about the size that you're gonna look at it on YouTube. And when the guy was saying, it's definitely true. So you can still read that clearly. Late night test, don't crash, bro. So you can see that really easily, and that's even on a dark background. So we're gonna go ahead and switch out, and we're gonna go black. So now when I do a black outline on that, you can't really see it. Okay, it's there, but because we have a black background to everything, you can't see it that well. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back to white. Take that out, and so now you can see it really well. And that's basically how I do it. I basically go in, if I want to do a different background, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? You can change it up by just playing around with backgrounds and just kind of see how they blend, and go in and make your adjustments. So if some of you guys have been watching my videos for a while, I'm pretty sure you've seen thumbnails like, okay, okay, that's where you use that from. And so you can go in, and then what I would do is, if I use a certain background, then now I might tone down the colors more in the back or the front to kind of lighten it up more, okay? Because it's pretty dark, so I may want to lighten it up. But that's the thing about it. Go on YouTube, find some, I mean, not YouTube, go on Google, find some images that you like, and you can actually cut them. You know, definitely watch out for those that are copyrighted, but there's a lot of images out here that you can actually just kind of play around with, and you get these different backgrounds, different options, and you can really come up with some cool things. And if you have a really great imagination, you like, oh, okay, this is awesome, right? But it's all about trial and error, kind of playing around. Some of these you probably never seen me use, some of them you have, some of them you may not even know I've used them, okay? But the point is that you have them in this file, and different bots. You know, you want to use certain bots, but the color, because they're already below what we did, they're going to come in with that same kind of color, that same kind of like, okay, this is a real bot. Okay, just that it stands out so much more. And the biggest thing about when I do my videos, my thumbnails, is this little grading part at the top. You basically call color grading. So you click this off and it looks good to me, okay? But then when I hit this, that really kind of brings it out, kind of really gives it a lot more detail. It looks more realistic to me because it does have that darkness to it. And this is going to be the image for the video I'm about to put up, which is my my live stream. So the live stream is already up. I just haven't made it public again. It always goes to unlisted when I'm done. And then I create thumbnails through my timestamps. And then once I'm done with my timestamps, I go ahead and put that information in the comments and pin it. And then I go ahead and do all my little things, add into all my different playlists and all those different things. And then I come in and I make my thumbnail for that video. And then booyah, we're ready to go. So now the last thing is we're going to go ahead and hit save. So I'm going to go file. And remember I told you we're going to do save as. Now I always save mine anyway. I'm going to save it. And this mine is always Ghost Drift live stream thumbs. Okay, so I know I go in here and I can make thumbs. So this is my thumb here. And then what I'm gonna do is go file and I'm gonna do save for web. Okay, now it's 7.7 meg and that's everything in here, okay? But just the regular one is 301 kilobytes. Okay, now there's been once or twice where I went to save it and it showed like 1 meg or 1.1 M. Then you would go to this one down here. Each one of these is basically a variation of the first. So this one's going to have so much data, this is going to have less data. So this is less data than the first, okay, the 7.7. This 301 is going to have less data than the first one. Then this one down here is going to have less data than the second one. And then this is going to have less data than the third one, okay? So as you go down, you're going to be able to see it's getting smaller. And then the quality doesn't, you can move this around and kind of look and see, okay, how does it look? Okay, if you're not really losing any quality, you could go with this one. Okay, as you keep going, you might see, okay, I'm really losing certain quality, then I want to stay here. I'm losing too much quality, I'm gonna stay here. This is too big, I gotta go here. Okay, but you can move these around and compare them and see, are you really visually losing a lot of quality? Okay, and if that's the case, then of course you want to go with the highest quality you can get, but the smallest file size that will still be uploaded. So we're just gonna go with the one at the top. That's still cool. That's 301. It's not a big deal. Go ahead now over to the right. These are all where you change your settings. Mine are JPEGs. If I need this to be a ping, I usually do ping 28. You probably do ping 8. I don't really get into that, but that's if you have an image and you need the background to be transparent so you can see straight through it. But this one's a JPEG, so we're gonna leave everything the same. I'm not gonna change anything over there. And I got this one selected. You can see it kind of got a gray, it has a gray bar around it. And then we're gonna go ahead and hit save. Okay, and then I just basically go in and change it. We'll say late night testing. Don't crash, bro. Right? And we just hit save. And that's it. So that's how we do it, and that's how you do it. So when you go in here, you can just, if you want to go in and put something else, you just uncheck it, turn off the eyeballs, and you just go through and just have at it, you know, and just do different things. But the cool thing about this setup is when I come in, especially don't have a lot of time, I can go in, and sometimes I go out and I add more images. I may go out, I got a different idea, maybe it's a video and it's just like, okay, I need something totally different. I'll go out and look for a different background. When I did my Independence Day, I went and found some other backgrounds so I could put them in there and make it look good. But the point is that you can use Photoshop to do so much, and you don't have to have you don't have to know a lot. You just need to know how to move things around. You don't have to cut things out all the time. You can sometimes go find these images on the web. Like I told you, we have the War Robots fan kit. It was at the Moby Fact website. Go there, get the fan kit. I got a video on it. You go look it up. It's in my tutorials, and you can actually go see how to get this kit, download it. Now you got all these cool images, really high quality images, and you can start making your videos and then having your thumbnails that look really great and pull people to your videos so you can get those views and grow your channel the way you would like. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you got any other questions, definitely leave them in the comments. Other than that, this is a Ghost. I'm out. Deuces.
Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you enjoyed this video. And as always, choose like over death.